citizens forum. We got Phoebe. You have to come up to the mic, or we can bring you a mic. No, we need to have it on. So
it's a audio thing for
everybody watching
the YouTube channel thingy.
So you have two questions here. One is it says policy of moment
for silence.
Okay. So we're being respectful, and what's your question?
Respectful for what and to whom? That's my question.
To us. So
the question that I have is, I don't mind giving people that deserve a moment of silence the silence.
Yep.
I don't mind seeing the flag at half staff when it should be. There is a federal law that dictates when the flag goes to half staff.
Yep.
I know there's not a law that says about moment of silence. I understand that. But I checked the policies. I have a copy of all of them. Don't have one. So I'm thinking, if and when you do that, you may want to have a policy. And I understand the situation that's going on down there. Don't necessarily agree with a lot of it, but I understand it. Because you guys got to remember, I was broke in on the Chicago Democrat and Republican Convention of 1968. Chicago was terrible. I saw the results of LA getting burned. I remember when King was killed. I'm that old. Don't want to see that crap again. And as some of you know, I was in the military for a long time.
Thank you for your service, sir.
And those years in the military was to protect a certain piece of paper. And it gets used out of context a lot of times. And it's the 250th anniversary of that paper. And I think a lot of people don't completely understand everything there is about that paper, don't understand what it took to write it, or more importantly, what it takes to keep it. There's been too many sidesteps of it. The second question that I had was, when can we get back to an open meeting? I know we've had this discussion a little bit before, and I was told it was because things got out of hand and there was words being had between people in the community and the board. And yes, I remember those too. But we never had anybody go out in the parking lot and beat the hell out of each other. No guns. Yeah, there was some profanity every once in a while. But at least we could sit down and have a discussion and actually come to compromises that was suitable for everybody. That's when we had a lot more kids. We had a lot more employees. And I just, to tell you the truth, I don't think the openness with the board is there anymore. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, next we'll go with the Ellers.
Good evening. I'm going to walk through the pre-sale report, and so you should have a copy of that if you would like to follow along. The pre-sale report is for the $5 million general obligation school building bonds, and this came from the November referendum where the voters authorized the issuance of these school building bonds along with your capital project levy. So now it is time to start talking about issuing these bonds, and so that you have the bond proceeds in time for when the construction will start. So I'll just walk through kind of what we're saying and what we're seeing right now at the pre-sale point of the process. So again, this is the issuance of the $5 million school building bonds. And this was from that November 4th, 2025 election. And the annual debt service payments on the bonds will be paid from a property tax levy and then also state aid that'll be received as part of that school building bond ag credit. And so I'm on page 1 right now too, if you want to follow along. The bonds will be for a term of 14 years, and they will also be callable at February 1 of 2034. What that means is at that time, if interest rates are lower than the rates that you receive on the bonds, you'll be able to take a look at them at that time, and you can do a refunding or a refinance. So they are set up so that you can look at those at one point in time and decide if you'd like to refinance. The district will be participating in the State Credit Enhancement Program, and what that means is that you will receive the state of Minnesota's credit rating along with an underlying rating for the district itself, and that's very beneficial to underwriters that are looking at purchasing the bonds. There's no cost to the district to participate in that program, so it's well worth your time to do that so that you can receive the lower interest rates for participating in the program. And as I mentioned, the district will be obtaining an underlying rating as well, and that's just, again, a great additional security for underwriters that will be looking at purchasing the bonds. We've reviewed all the existing debt, and we've taken a look at that at this time as well, just so you're aware that we do keep that in mind when we are structuring this debt and taking a look at the new issuance. As a part of the bond issuance process, the district will be required to provide certain information to investors, and it's called continuing disclosure. So throughout the term of the bonds, you will just be providing audits and financial information for the investors to be able to look at that along the way. You are already doing that, and with your existing bonds, and Ellers is helping you, and we are your dissemination agent already for continuing disclosure. But this issuance will also have that requirement. You can invest the bond proceeds, and Ellers is willing to help you with the investment of those bond proceeds as well. That is important, just so that you can, earn a little additional dollars for project costs. And then I will look at the schedule here. So now I'm moving to page 5. So on December 15th, here at the board level, you authorized the issuance of these bonds at that time. Tonight, I'm here presenting the pre-sale report for the issuance. We will have 2 separate calls coming up with administration. The first one is the due diligence call, and we will walk through the document that gets provided to the market for the underwriters to take a look at. It's just a lot of value, county value, and district information in that document. And then there will be the rating call, and that again is to provide that underlying rating and to provide the state credit enhancement rating as well. We will put the official statement, that is what we're reviewing during that due diligence call. We'll be putting that out to the market February 12th, and then on February 23rd we will receive bids in the morning, and we will evaluate that. We'll be in touch with administration throughout that morning, and then Matthew Hammer, the senior municipal advisor, will be here that night in person to present the results of the sale for all of you, so that you can see how that all went that day. And again, that night on February 23rd, the board will also authorize the the sale of those bonds that night, so there will be some action to take. And then the closing date is March 19th, and that is when the bond proceeds will be available, so for your projects. We've got some attachments here that I will just go through briefly. The first one is the sources and uses of the funds. So this is attachment A. And we've got the par amount there. We did a very conservative estimate of what you could earn for investments. The reoffering premium, we are expecting an underwriter to provide a premium on the bonds, And so with that, and then taking the underwriter's discount, you can see the initial deposit to the construction fund is a little over 5 million, and the net available for project costs is a little over 5 million as well. The net includes that minimal amount of investment earnings that we're including up on the top. So you can see you're a little bit over that 5 million, and that's what you have available for project costs. The next attachment is going to set out your existing bonds, and then it'll show the new bonds coming on, and then on the far right of that it'll show the new tax rate. So what we've done here, there you can see in the middle with the new school building bonds, this is that 14-year term that I talked about. This is the principal and interest amounts, and that sets it out taking your existing commitments into consideration along with the new school building bonds and giving you your new tax rate off to the right-hand side. The next page is really nice. It's got a bar chart. It is exactly what I was just explaining, but in a visual form. So the gray bars are your existing debt. The blue dashed bars that come on top are the new school building bonds. And so you can see this structure that we have set up for the district. Now, if you look out at the structure at 2034, that is when you're going to be able to take a look and decide if interest rates are lower and whether or not you would want to refinance these bonds or refund them at that time. If not, then there is a drop between 2035 and 2036, which provides availability in case there's any other projects or anything way out in 2036. The other reason for structuring the debt this way is it pushes up the principal towards the front of these bonds, which means you pay them off quicker and it's less interest cost to the district. So that's the reasoning for why this is set up the way that it is set up. Most beneficial to the district. Did you have any questions?
Can you go back to the page 6 and help me understand reoffering premium?
Sure.
Just some of this is very new to me, so I'm trying to.
Yes. Yep, I'm glad to do that. So the reoffering premium, the underwriter, at this time in the market, we're seeing that we're receiving premium bids. And what that means is that the underwriter is going to pay more for the bonds. They do take a small cut of it, and that's why you see the $60,000 on the underwriter's discount and the uses. But this all has to do with the secondary market and investors and how much they think, the way that they want to purchase the bonds for investors. But what it means to you basically is that you will end up with additional funds available for your project costs because this is advantageous to an underwriter to purchase them this way.
So it could be higher, it could be lower.
Yes. We are fairly conservative on that. I would say that. But sometimes it's right in the ballpark and sometimes it's a little more. Any other questions? This is exciting, by the way. Congratulations on the vote passing and being able to be at this step in the process. Yeah.
All right, next, Sheena, finance review.
We are reviewing the Finance Committee meeting monthly budget report. For our revenues, our state revenues are at 33% received, federal revenues 5% received, local revenues 51% received. Your total revenues by site: food service 34% received, community service 10% received, debt redemption 15% received, student activities 53% received. Our grants, Title 401, is we are awarded $115,995.69. Our quarter one draw was $9,416.17, and our quarter two draw will be submitted this week or next week, and we usually receive it within a couple weeks. There was a new grant that we're receiving. Were you going to talk about it today?
No, go ahead.
Did you apply for it? Who actually
Yeah.
applied for it? So Jill applied for like a food service equipment grant, which the school did receive. So the grant is about $24,000. So I did set up new codes for that, so that's great and exciting. So, way to
Thanks, Jill.
yeah, good job. For our expenditures, our salaries and wages are 32% expended, employee benefits 37% expended, purchase services 57% expended, supplies and materials 47% expended, capital equipment 8% expended, and in the category of other, we are 61% expended. Your total expenditures by site: food service, 46% expended; community ed, 46% expended; debt redemption, 100% expended; and student activities, 64% expended. All expenditures combined, we are at 38%, which is under budget right now, being at 50% expended through the year. For our summary of funds, our revenue is $3,067,874.97. Our expenditures are $4,173,188.88. That gives us a spending deficit of $1,105,313.91. But keep in mind, we just made our bond payment of $916,425. So removing that bond payment, we were very, very close. So keep in mind that revenue comes in later. So don't be alarmed by the deficit. We're still right where we need to be, and that bond payment is planned every year. Business office update. The paid family medical leave went into effect January 1st. Payroll deductions were set up, and then payments to NIS Madison National are made quarterly. We're still just kind of having a little bit of issues with the startup and getting our account set up, but we should be good to go now today. Not initially as smooth as we thought, but we should be able to have access today, and as of now, we don't have any submissions. So the pay equity report was completed. We did review it at the finance meeting. We are in compliance when you factor in all areas of the pay equity report. So tonight, I'm asking for board approval on the pay equity report, and then that will be submitted to the state. And then the results are actually posted in the district office. The pay equity report is completed every 3 years. W-2s are currently available in Smart ER to all staff. They were also mailed out on January 18th. Right now I am working on Q4 unemployment reporting. Our report of outstanding indebtedness was just completed and submitted. ACA reporting is also being completed for our 1095s. Those are due to employees in March. They're due to employees and the IRS in March. This month I completed 941s, W-2s, the local collaborative time study report to Lake of the Woods County. We had a data request from Ellers for the presale bond issuance report and also the pay equity report. Any other questions? Okay, thanks.
besides, calendar committee did meet.
We'll be voting on contingent school calendar for next year.
Next superintendent, Scott.
Good evening. I just have 4 items just to start off with. Our student count as of January 22nd, we are at 419 K-12 plus 16 pre-K. Following up at the request to do more exploring of legal firms and options and those types of things. In talking with other superintendents and when I was down at the MSBA workshops, I did talk to a few other attorneys, and the overwhelming advice that was given was not to officially name or just utilize one firm because different firms have different strengths. What was offered to me is for the board, if we were to, and we don't need to do this, but we can, if we wanted to name, 2, 3, 4 different firms, and then the board would direct administration to utilize the firm that would be best suited for the situation. And I can give an example of that right now because I will be talking about construction updates. I did bring those construction contracts to one attorney and got some review, was given some advice, went to another attorney who just so happens they've been, for the last number of years, they've been doing a lot of work with Krauss Anderson, and we're able to go in and say, yeah, this is all the common language that's been approved, and this is going to be to your benefit. And so as a result, that's going to be helping us with as we get those contracts put together. So I guess my recommendation administratively would be for us to consider Pemberton Law, Kennedy Graven, and Ratzwick, Rotsack, and Maloney, and to be able to utilize the strengths of any one for any given situation.
Do they require retainers right off the bat, or what's?
In terms of the other 2 I've talked to, they do not require a retainer unless we're going to be committing to them as general counsel. Right now, Pemberton is general counsel for us, so I would not see a reason to change that. For some of the other pieces that we would want to go out to for something specific, that's something then we can just go to them and then get set up at that time, but it wouldn't necessarily be a retainer for that. And in terms of hourly rates, they're all within the same range without getting too specific, but depending upon the area, it could be $250 an hour, as little as $200 an hour, as much as $300, depending upon if it's, something like contracts is lower. If you're getting into potential litigation, that's going to be higher. Any other questions? Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Construction update. So we are in negotiations with both Krauss Anderson and Widseth. Going to be meeting with them again this week and meeting with the one attorney just to go over a few of the pieces. So Widseth, we're pretty much, I'm going to say, buttoned up on. There's a couple pieces, and of course we're going to be having our facilities transportation committee meeting, so we'll be able to go into more detail then. Krauss Anderson, it is looking like we're probably going to have about a 30-minute meeting with myself and them, and then both of our attorneys, just to get into some details on a couple points of the contract. But I feel it's worth us doing so because it would set us up to, if there were some issues or something where we would be, for the best way to put it, not incurring as many costs and some things. And these are things we're asking for that are in alignment with other construction contracts and things like that. So, and also clarifying a couple points as well. And then beyond that, the nurse had given a mid-year report the end of December. I believe that was in your packet. A lot of numbers, a lot of statistics. I'm not going to try and list all the numbers and statistics. I am going to say that she does a phenomenal job. I mean, as of today, when our cabinet team met, well over $3,000, well over 3,000 office visits to this point in the year. And she just does a fantastic job of being available for all our students and of course staff as well as needed. So as you look at the report, or if you had a chance to look at it, if you have any questions, I would ask that to go ahead and email those to me, and I'll get those to her to get any answers you might need. Anything for me? All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mary.
Good evening, everyone. Semester 2 ended on January 16th. New semester started on the 19th, and study time began this morning. Sam Lyon sent out notices to kids who are athletes who needed to attend that. On the 16th, when we had early release on that day, one of the requests I had for teachers, if there were any students that were receiving an F, that parents were notified, since we don't have conferences and we don't necessarily know which parents are always checking Parent View. So that was a request that we would have that communication with parents. I attended the Northern Division Principals meeting on the 14th, and presenters we had were the Pine to Prairie Drug Task Force team. So that was very interesting to see new paraphernalia that's being used and out there, and different things to look for that I'm happy to say I haven't seen any of them yet, and especially in the buildings, so that's good. My principals meetings, which are held in Thief River Falls at the high school. So they came there and presented. Spelling Bee was last week, and Paisley Finicum will advance to region, and this week is my principals winter conference. One act play was on Saturday, which went off without a glitch after our little no heat on Friday. And our students took 4th place on that. It was a tie, 3rd, 4th, and because of some of the way points and things are looked at, our students took 4th place. And music program for our 3rd through 5th graders coming up on February 11th. And then February 19th and 20th, Mark Mint, who's a Native American author, is going to come and work with our students. And he's been here before, so he's going to spend a day with the elementary kids and a day with the high school kids and teachers. Elementary kids, every elementary kid will see him. High school students, teachers will sign up depending on the time slots that we can fit in for the school day. And then I don't have this on my report, but honor roll numbers, we have 137 students that made the honor roll, the grades 6 through 12, so I think that is fantastic. 63 students made the B honor roll and 74 students the A honor roll, so that's very exciting, I think. And kids were very excited because if you're on A honor roll, you get 2 shout-out tickets, and if you're on B honor roll, you get 1. So it's been a very busy day in the office, and I appreciate Tracy covering all that with the kids coming in for shout-outs.
A lot of tickets.
Yes, but it's all good stuff. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, next, buildings and grounds with Scott and Dale.
Well, I'll start. As you know, we had an eventful end of last week with the electric cooperative going to a red zone. Essentially what happened on Friday is after going off red zone, our transfer switch got stuck in between in a neutral position, so we did not go to grid power. So the school was without power for a little over 3 hours. During that time, it was noticed and I was notified, came in, visited with Dale. He was attending to things. I was able to call and Lake of the Woods Electric, he was available over in Roseau, so he was able to come over, and by 4:45-ish or so, they had power back on, contacted North Star, had a person over. The big issue is somebody with who actually has a suit to be able to manually flip that switch over in case there's any arcing or anything for protection, of course. And they were able to do that. I would say through the process, as Dale and I have debriefed about it, we've learned a number of things, and one of which is as we're looking at updating our systems through some of our capital project levy money, One of the things is ensuring that we have some alarms and notifications that are actually tied into these systems. So if something isn't working, we are notified about it right away. Because in essence, what had happened is during those power switching back and forth, it looks like a circuit breaker for the heating unit in the shack had stopped, or that circuit had tripped. So that shack wasn't being heated, which meant that bar mechanically wasn't able to slide, it had gotten cold and wasn't able to slide over to make that connection. So that's the very simplistic explanation of all that. But again, in the debriefing, just some of our communication pieces and things we've revisited and have some better things going forward now that we understand how some of the notifications on the different systems are really operating. So with that, I'll ask for Dale whatever is pertinent to add in, please.
It was nice to have North Star come out and help me. To safely do this, we had them de-energize the transformer, which also shut down the arena, and then we manually moved that switch. And its default strategy is if that switch doesn't know where it's at, or when it hung in neutral, it shuts the whole system down. It does nothing. So then you have to manually get that switch we went with normal, and it came back to life right away. And then Sunday I got brave, hooked the switch back up so it would work in automatic mode, tried it on the generator, everything worked flawlessly, so we're back in business.
Are you guys on the text messaging from North Star for when they're gonna shut?
Yes.
And Dale, you figured out
Yeah.
Dale had some phone issues, but I think
Yeah, I went to spam and I didn't realize I even had a spam folder till Friday.
Thank you.
Yep. Other than that, I would say in terms of building grounds, no major issues in terms of facilities or mechanical or anything like that. The only other piece was with all of this and talking to Bill Chambers and in terms of the IT side, and when the power went out like that and the different systems, and he learned some things about how systems were powering up versus how maybe he thought or we thought they should be powering up. So we actually learned a lot from this, and the good news is in the end there was no damage to any systems or anything like that. So
Do we have battery powered lights in the little locker rooms?
No.
We should probably put those in.
Yeah,
The
that
argument was
subject
always-
came up many years ago. We put some in, and if you not on top of it and change the batteries ever so often, it burns the power supply out.
Yeah.
So they can be replaced if you wish.
Well, the argument before was always, it'll never go out, so nobody would ever have a
Yeah.
problem because we have a generator and it'll switch over automatically.
Yep.
There's no windows or any other light source.
Yes.
So,
that would be the case
In
all
any
the
locker rooms.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them.
so that'll be something we add into.
They exist, but they're not functional? Is that
Yeah,
what I'm hearing?
they died several years ago, and they've never been maintained. They're not required by law since we had the generator. But even when we're down for 3 hours plus, those batteries are good for 15 to 20 minutes.
that's enough to get anybody over there.
That's enough to quit the panic mode and move on.
Okay, just curious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it. We'll adjourn at 6:35.
Question for Sheena.
Did we change
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First off, I need a motion and a second to modify the agenda to include the 2025 Minnesota Pay Equity Compliance Report.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
By Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Now need a motion and a second to approve the December 15th, 2025 meeting agenda.
I'll make a motion.
It's
20
December 2026.
26.
Oh.
January. Meeting,
Oh.
okay. So we had a motion by
Me.
Robin, second by
I'll second.
Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Board presenters, written communication, the old business. All right, on to new business. Need a motion and a second to approve the December 15th, 2025 regular board meeting minutes and the January 5th, 2026 organizational meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson.
Second.
Second by Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion and a second to approve the invoices, financial statements, bank reconciliation, wire transfers, and purchase card statements.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Craig,
I'll second.
by Robin. Any discussion?
Reconciliation's always the hardest part to say about that.
Yeah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the appointments. Appointments are Dale Bruin, part-time custodian, as seasonal, and JP Sweet as varsity track coach.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson.
Second.
By Boyd. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes. A motion and a second to approve resolution 2025-2026-10, accepting a donation of $100 from the American Legion Auxiliary for the backpack program.
Make the motion.
Motion by Boyd,
I'll second.
by Robin. Any discussion? Thank you, American Legion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion and a second to approve the 2025 to 2027 master agreement with the Lake of the Woods, Minnesota School Employee Association. Motion by Boyd,
I'll second.
second by Kay Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with Lake of the Woods, Minnesota School Employee Association for paraprofessional driving of the special education bus.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Severs. Second by Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Motion in a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with Lake of the Woods, Minnesota School Employee Association for compensation for the interim lead maintenance technician position.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson.
Second.
Second by Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion and second to approve the 2025-2027 master agreement with the local union number 3442 3452 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Council 65, ALF, CIO, AFSME. Motion by Boyd,
I'll second.
second by Kay Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. A motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with the local union 3452 of the ASME Council 65 AFL-CIO for additional duties and compensation for the administrative assistant accounts payable position.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson. Second by Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with local union number 3452 of the ASME Council 65 AFL-CIO for additional duties and compensation for the district assessment, MARS, and student data systems position. Motion by Boyd.
Second.
Robin. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Motion is second to approve the memorandum of understanding with local union numbered 3452 of the ASME Council 65 AFL-CIO for additional duties and compensation for the transportation supervisor position.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson. Second by Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Need a motion and a motion passes. Motion and a second to approve the updated Minnesota paid leave for the employee handbook. Motion by Boyd.
I'll second.
Second by Robin. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Motion and a second to approve the 2025-2027 contract with the the pre-K through 12 principal.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Kay Johnson. Second. Second by Boyd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Motion and a second to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar. Motion by Boyd.
Second.
Second by Robin. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with local union number 3452 of the ASME Council 65 AFL-CIO for additional duties and compensation for the athletics community director, community ed director position. Motion by Boyd.
I'll second.
Second by Hayes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve the 2025 Minnesota Pay Equity Compliance Report.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Severs. Second by Sonstegard. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. business.
Just a question for the board. With the goal of within the next, I'm hoping 10 days, to have the construction contracts approved, does the board want to consider scheduling a potential special meeting ahead of the next regular board meeting in February, if needed, so that they can continue with their process for getting the bid process going, so that we can start construction this summer?
Yeah.
You wanna look at some dates?
Looking at dates right now, and would be looking at the week of February 9th.
The 11th, 12th, and 13th would not work for me with my schedule. The 9th and 10th would.
Okay.
I'm free 9th and 10th.
School forest is
What
at
time is school forest?
5 p.m. is school forest meeting.
This meeting would be like,
5 minutes.
would be to sign the contract, so get it going.
We could just do it on that same day then, so if people
Would-
are already here.
Do you want to do you want to
4:30 maybe?
4:45?
Okay.
Does that work for?
Yep.
On the 9th, right?
So 4:45. So I believe that would need to be a motion, or not? Okay. Okay. So 4:45 on February 9th. Okay.
Okay.
It'd be special meeting for the approval of construction contracts. It's a special meeting, that's it. It's just a special meeting. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
7:12. All right, we'll adjourn at 7:12.